there, I am Brian Goulet of GouletPens.com, and I am thrilled to be able to introduce today's pens to you, the second Goulet exclusive Sailor 1911 Pro Gear and Pro Gear Slim models called Northern Lights Purple. We've been working with Sailor on this for over a year, and I am delighted to be able to finally get to reveal it to you. The first exclusive that we did with Sailor was called Stealth Green, an opaque dark green with some smoky accents. And we wanted to go a different direction with this pen, more vibrant in color, got some translucency in the material, and even got some shimmer in there. This pen just shines. So the body is a translucent purple that leans just a tad pink, especially when you shine bright light through it. I wouldn't necessarily call it a demonstrator, as it's not quite translucent enough to see every detail inside the pen, but if it's well lit, you can approximate the ink level in your cartridge or your converter without having to open up the pen, which is super nice if you're using it regularly. The finials and the grip complement the body in a translucent teal, and throughout all the resin, there's this fine silver shimmer particles that catch the light from pretty much any angle that you look at it. Sailor is known for many unique color combinations, and we've seen a number of vibrant Pro Gear additions. I may be a tad biased on this one, but I must say that I think this is one of the best looking Sailor color combos that I've seen. So let's talk about the things that are the same on both models, and then I'll split up into the separate ones. So on both of them, you're gonna have the complementary rhodium plated trim details on the center band, the grip, and the cap finial. It has metal trim rings on both finials, separating the purple and the teal colors. The center band has Sailor Japan founded 1911 in block lettering and an accent ring above it. And it's got a trim ring between the grip and the body threads. The clip is a tension clip with an Art Deco inspired design, and the fit and finish on this pen is superb. The Sailor anchor logo is embedded in the cap finial on both models. The cap is a screw cap. It's got 2 rotations to get it uncapped, and it pushes to post on the back of the pen with a firm fitting so it stays secure while you're writing with it. Now onto the smaller pen, the Pro Gear Slim. It's gonna be about 17 grams overall, like maybe a Lamy Safari, so you can hold it all day and your hand won't get tired because it's a nice light pen. It's gonna be great for an everyday writing pen, especially for anyone with small to mid-size hands. Now on the full-size Pro Gear, it's more of a mid-size pen, and it's gonna be slightly more weight at 22 grams, which is only slightly heavier than the Slim, honestly, and it's still gonna be pretty good for everyday use. I think this is gonna be more of a well-rounded pen for people of pretty much any hand size, and it's my personal favorite size because I have larger hands. So the nibs themselves, part of the best part about this pen, Sailor makes all their nibs in-house, and they're renowned for their writing quality and consistency. So the Pro Gear Slim has a smaller 14 karat nib, and the Pro Gear has the 21 karat gold nib. It has just a bit more bounce to it than the 14K due to a slightly larger nib size and a higher gold content. Both nib designs are highly detailed with the Sailor anchor logo and the 1911 number as the focal point. So both pens are going to be available with all 7 standard Sailor nib grinds: extra fine, fine, medium, broad, zoom, and music. The nibs on both models are relatively stiff with a hint of feedback, and kind of feels like a high quality graphite pencil if you've ever written with something like that. Though the 21 karat nib on the Pro Gear isn't quite as stiff, it's gonna have a little bit of bounce to it. The flow is controlled and consistent. It's in the middle of the road in terms of ink flow, perhaps leaning drier more on the finer nibs and flowing a little more generously with things like the broad and the zoom. These accept proprietary Sailor ink cartridges and bottled ink with the Sailor proprietary converter, which is included with the pen. And there's a cap insert that helps to retain the ink on the nib so it stays nice and wet and ready to write anytime that you need it to. Yeah, so the process for us creating these is pretty interesting. I mean, we pretty much have the format of the pen picked. I mean, the Pro Gear Slim, it's really the colors that we're working with when we go to choose these. So we get to pick things like the trim color, but really it's the colors of the material that require the most kind of back and forth. So the process for that, for us working with Sailor, is pretty much we start out with the general color scheme that we want to go with. So we take a look at different hex codes and we give them an idea of the color ranges that we're looking for. And there's a lot of different options. So we take a look at maybe what they've done before, try to get something that's not too close to something they've done because we wanted to make it unique, right? So we'll do that, we'll get them some hex codes, and they actually send us these little chips that we then get to see these colors in person, because that's a really important part of the process. If you're just working off digital files, you don't necessarily get the best sense for what it's going to look like in a pen. And then we tell them whether we want translucency or not, how much. You literally just pick a percentage of opacity that you want to go with. Is it going to have shimmer or not? So we really get to dream a little bit in terms of the color, and then we kind of pick a range of things, and then we get some sample chips and we kind of mix and match and say, okay, if we know that we want to do a different body color than a finial, we have different ones. I won't say some of the other ones that we were considering because we may use them in the future. But it's a pretty interesting process. We really do get to go back and forth with them and kind of mix and match and design these colors from scratch. So once it all kind of works out and we're happy with what we've got, they approve it, then we move forward and get a sample pen, and then from there, we get to do the real deal. So it's a pretty fascinating process, and really glad to be able to get to do that with Sailor. So when it comes to who should actually get credit for really picking these colors, I mean, it's kind of a team effort, but ultimately it's my wife, Rachel, that gets the final say on the colors, and she really had a vision for this specific pen. So give her all the props for picking this beautiful combination. So let's take a look at what ink that I think is going to match well with the Northern Lights purple. The way I see it, you'll probably want to lean purple with this ink since that's the most dominant color. Something vibrant, maybe with a little bit of pink to it, that I think would look really great. But there are honestly a ton of purple options to choose from, so I'm going to give you kind of a bunch of them. So starting out with Sailor ink, the Sailor Ink Studio 450 or 750 look pretty good. Roaring Cleaner Cassia looks great. Private Reserve Infinity Violet. Diamine Majestic Purple. Diamine Flowers Pansy, Deatramentus Violets, Twisby Royal Purple, Private Reserve Tanzanite, Diamine Imperial Purple, Diamine Bilberry, Noodler's Purple, and if you want to get a little shimmer in there, Jacques Herbin 1798 Amethyst de l'Oral. The other option that would complement the pen material nicely would be to match the grip and the finial with that teal color. The color can range a lot, though, between greens and blues, so you'll want to lean something more on the green side if you're going with the teal, and something less saturated than something really dark because you have a lot of translucency here. So some of my recommendations, if you want to go teal, would be to take a look at the Sailor Ink Studio 464, Diamine Spearmint Diva, Lamy Crystal Amazonite, Organic Studio Alanine, Diamine Marine, one of my all-time faves, Herbin Blue Calanque. And if you want to go shimmer on the teal, you got a couple options. You got Private Reserve Pearlescent Turquoise Silver and Robert Auster Silver Fire and Ice. Now the price for these pens, you're looking at $280 for all nib grinds of the Pro Gear Slim and $392 for all nib grinds on the Pro Gear. The pens are not going to be numbered limited editions, but they will be made in a limited production capacity, meaning that they won't be available forever, so it's a good idea to prioritize these sooner than later if it's something that you really want to add to your collection, especially if you have a particular nib size that you want, because there's 7 nib sizes across each pen, so there's not as many of every nib size since there's so many of them to choose from. We did have to commit to a certain number of these pens, and it may be possible for us to reorder if they're incredibly popular. That said, we did sell through the full-size Pro Gear first on the Stealth Green, which actually surprised us a little bit because usually the Slim is a little more popular. We were able to place another order for that one. It took us a couple of months to restock though, but basically bottom line, they're gonna be here for you, just maybe not forever. So take your time, think about what you want, and then you can always reach out to us if you have any questions about it and the timing and that kind of thing. But if it's really hot demand and they sell it really quickly, we may be able to order more. This is never really a guarantee. Well, there you have it. This is our Sailor exclusive Pro Gear for 2022, and I hope to be able to offer more in the future. We'll have to see after the success of the Stealth Green and the Northern Lights Purple. I'm hoping that Sailor will like what we're doing and we'll get to do more. We're very honored and excited to be able to offer these to you from Sailor, and we hope that you really enjoy what we've created together. If you want more pictures, technical details, and other information, be sure to check out the pens on gouletpens.com. And let us know what you think in the comments. Please share the video, like it, subscribe, all that good stuff, because it helps to share more of these videos to other pen people. Thank you so much for watching, and right on.